friends, welcome to CaFFe Gospel Ministries. If you ever get time to read, try Die Empty, a book by Todd Henry. He got his team to write while attending a business meeting. The question posed was, where can you find the richest land in the world? The answer varied from oil-rich Gulf countries to diamond mines in Africa. But to cut all the arguments, the answer given was that cemetery is the richest land in the world, because millions of people have departed carrying their valuable ideas. They were buried with their good thoughts. In the book, Henry writes, "Do not go to your grave and carry inside you the best that you have. Always choose to die empty." Die empty takes us to our Lenten meditation on the fifth Sunday. Unless a wheat of grain falls on the ground and dies, it remains only a single grain, but if it dies, it yields a rich harvest. Look at the cross and see the rich harvest of God. Cross speaks to us of the source and summit of Christian spirituality. Jesus emptied himself to accomplish John 3:16. That is why 1 Corinthians 1:17, anything that we do away from the cross of Christ is letting the cross emptied of its power. For Christ did not send me to baptize, but to preach the good news, and not with a clever speech, for fear that the cross of Christ would lose its power. I had to sit with a crying mum this weekend for the health of her only son. I did not have any words other than my silent listening to console her. She was trying to hold her faith, but in between the lines of despair and challenge. Why did the Lord let it in my house, and why it is again and again? If Christian spirituality has no good news to speak at the point of human suffering, this is a moment we should all shut up our church and walk away. In my prayer for the boy, the Holy Spirit prompted to pray Psalm 22, where Jesus prays on the cross, "My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from me, so far from the words of my groaning?" The Lord, the resurrected one, in acute pain and loneliness prayed like you and me, "Where are you, God?" But then he submitted to the Father's glorious will. Human sufferings, if we try to find an answer within the wisdom or eloquence. Christian spirituality has no words. We have only an event to show up. That is the power of God, but visibly a failed and dying man on the cross. We call it the emptying of Christ on the cross. When we are able to endure deep suffering, we are made witnesses of the power of the cross. At the foot of the cross, there were some who found it a mockery and failure, but others who proclaimed, "He is truly the Son of God." In every suffering, the Holy Spirit prompts us the way to newness and life. The lesson of life: unless a grain of wheat falls on the ground and dies, it remains a single grain. But if it dies, it yields a rich harvest. Harvest of the cross is our proclamation. It requires to come down to ground, your grounds of love, commitment, and service. Death is a process on your mission, not a stopping of breathing. God bless, Father Tony.